All right, we are live with Ben Losier, is it? Is that how you say your last name? I wasn't sure.
Losier, yeah. Yeah,
Losier,
close.
Losier. Okay, cool.
I've heard a
Yeah,
lot of
so,
different pronunciations, but
all right, yeah, so, and it's findbettertrades.com, right? Is where you're at?
yes, findbettertrades.com.
Findbettertrades.com. Cool. Yeah, so I'll just give a few minutes for people here to join. We'll just sort of see how many people join this. If you have any questions, make sure you ask us in the chat. We'll be able to answer any questions you have. If you're watching this as a replay, just check out the description below and you'll find all the information you need for signing up for the OCP indicator or Try Trader Plus or any of the other indicators that we talk about tonight on the live stream. So yeah, let's just get started a little bit. Ben, I was a little bit curious about what your background is and like kind of how you sort of started this indicator business. You have a lot of indicators, and I'm just kind of curious, like how you got into it all and how you became basically a mega developer in the space.
Yeah, I'm I'm still kind of a baby, I feel like, at some point with a lot of this different tools. Definitely AI has helped, really helped kind of in the development process. And I still got some guys, helping me along the way. But yeah, so basically I started around I think it was 2016. I actually started tradingstrategyguys.com. And essentially I literally on day one, I started writing strategies. And so it was, and if you guys know Casey Stubbs, he's the one who brought me on. And at that time, he was a big, he would be big time in like Forex, a little bit of stocks and things like that. But essentially, he's like, hey, and so I just jumped in head first and I just started learning all this stuff and all these terms and different things like that. And then over the years, just kind of just honed in a lot of different things with my systems and just over the past year since actually this is our 1 year at Find Better Trades. I actually kind of went on my own, and so now I'm building these systems, creating these indicators, and this is my passion, and I just really enjoy doing this stuff, and I love it's always awesome to see people, even just someone that reached out to me about the OCP. Who's just like, he actually had some feedback about it, and just going back and forth. That's the kind of stuff I really like the most. It's really fun, and that's kind of just that's kind of what I've been up to the last few years. So.
No, definitely. And the one thing that struck me about your indicator systems is they seem to be more real time than most of the other indicator systems out there. So, like a lot of them depend on MACD crossovers, EMA crossovers, all these type of lagging indicators. From what I've seen with like Triforce Trader, is that what it's called? Tri Trader Plus.
Tri Trader, yes.
Tri Trader, yeah. And OCP is like they're based more on real time candlestick patterns, which is really interesting to me. I'm wondering, like, what made you? Is that kind of what was your motivation behind these indicators?
Yeah, I mean, as we all know, and probably a lot of everybody watching today, if you go here on TradingView, and you go to even just like there's this thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of indicators, right? So there's a lot of systems out there, and a lot of them work. A lot of them are just someone just kind of had a project about it. But I really like candlestick patterns. The triangle patterns, or support resistance. This is another candlestick pattern. Just include that involves the body of the candle and tail like a wicks and just going sideways for a bit. It's just that's the kind of stuff that just over the years that I've learned and just applied onto the charts. It really seems to work. Really seems to work really well. And so that's kind of my mindset whenever I'm building these systems. Or finding a system and tweaking it a little bit, like, okay, that was cool, but what can we do better? Things like that. Or so that's kind of where my mindset is with that.
Yeah, definitely. So one question I had for you was, is there a name for this pattern where you have this big wick on the OCP and then a candle closing inside the body of the candle or the wick? Is that a harami or is that something else? Like, because I couldn't really find.
Shoot, there's a lot of different names for these things. That could be a hammer.
I guess it's a hammer plus yeah.
Yeah, I think that could be considered a hammer, but I've tried to memorize all the names and this and that, but when it comes down to it, it's just at this point now, I just, even when I see them, I'm like, okay, that could be a bullish signal, or it could be, but that's also why I like to create indicators, so that way I don't have to remember those names. And is this a bullish pattern or is this a bearish? I see a line on my chart. It's like, okay, if it crosses that, I'm going to go ahead and take a position here, which is, what, this is right here on this example I have queued up. So
it's funny because like I saw a candle formation forming with that wick, and then the candle next to it closing inside the wick, and immediately after I spotted it, your indicator actually said, "Hey, this is a potential long." So I was like, "Okay, cool." So it's basically doing what I would do manually, but doing it automated. So that's really cool. It's really cool.
Yeah, it's really, I like this. I like the way that, it identifies the first two, and then it has to break a certain level, which is that first candle right here. So I actually like that kind of trading, and closing above a certain level, just because it seems like there's, that's where a lot of eyeballs are at. So when you cross that line, good things are going to happen, especially on the upside, or if it's the opposite way, it'll be going to the downside. So.
Well, this idea that it's basically more real-time data, right? It's like the buyers and sellers are fighting to get that.
Oh yeah,
like
it's a war,
and it's a whole new ball game. Yeah, like I love that. Like I really love it.
Yeah, like this example right here. So this is just the one I had on the I had a queued up here, but this was forward, and I believe this was I think this was a 1 hour chart, but I'd have to go back. But it's this kind of pattern is going to be working on lower time frames, higher time frames. I prefer them on the hourly or above. But you can still, scalp with it in the lower time frames. But see how it just went sideways, and it just stayed below this line until it broke. And so a big time breakout. And that's exactly what we look for. And I actually should have had the third one, which is it just continued to go up and up. But yeah, so that's what we look at for this specific pattern, is for it to basically it closes. The second candle closes above this big time wick, a nice little wick here. And once it goes sideways and then breaks that, what I find is the longer it goes sideways here, the actually stronger it'll be, even to the upside here. Sometimes, and this isn't perfect as well, so sometimes it'll just boom, and it'll come right back down. Which I believe in the strategy, or I shouldn't say I believe, but I know in the strategy I have even where we want to have some volume, right? So we want to have volume at these levels, because if you don't have any volume, this could just be just a whole lot of nothingness. Yeah. And so, there's a little volume indicator right here, which I cut off, but essentially you see that big, strong upward movement with volume. That's what you want to see. That's what you want to see with something like the OCP.
So is that something you would suggest to people that are using the OCP indicator already?
Yeah. So when they jump into the OCP, we got the strategy. I actually have it over here. It's a nice little document. I can even share it. But it's a nice little just document of just exactly what to do with the OCP, how to trade it, and things like that. So really what I try to do with these systems, I don't just want to just, okay, here you go, good luck, is, we really want to build a framework around it, and show you exactly how to trade with it, strategy wise, stop losses, take profit, all that good stuff. So,
yeah.
So let's see. I can even jump over to another one if you want here. So this is actually this is a real chart. Now we're over here, but this was a recent Tesla.
Oh yeah.
This is a recent Tesla trade on the daily chart. So we actually had, you see that nice little same pattern, same chart. And we broke it right here on Friday, September 5th. And then what a big time strong move. I can even throw the volume indicator, see what kind of volume we had. So we had some, and we all know Tesla. Tesla always has good volume. So you really don't have to worry about too much there. But you see these two candles that, went up very, strong candles. They actually had some pretty high volume on those as well. But typically with the strategy involved with when you get in, when you get out, the best case scenario, and with this strategy, you put your stop loss right at this first candle. And this is, so essentially if it comes up here, breaks it and comes back down, that's just kind of like, all right, well, we
It's,
didn't get what we wanted. And but if it stays above that, usually you want to hold it for at least 3 candles. But for this is going to be a lot. It's just really just going sideways here at this point. And you got to wait for that nice little big volume to come in, and it did right here on these 2 candles. And so this would have been a nice little exit right here. So that's a 1 to 2 exit, or almost 3 there. And it actually discontinued to go, but this would have been a good,
pretty good,
really solid exit at that point, because you want to see these big candles with it. So with options, this is a cool strategy with options, because if you see these big candles like this, it's good to get out, because those are the ones where you get like 50, 60, 100%ers.
Yeah,
and you just get out and you're just, I mean, yeah, it could continue to go, but I always like to get out when I've heard somebody say before, if the profits make you smile, then you can go ahead and get out. So I've actually had that mentality before, where I actually was like, all right, I'm getting out, and then it just goes the opposite direction. It just goes straight down. I was like, all right, well, you know what? I'm glad I was happy. But most of the time you want to be focusing on more like risk reward and stuff. But you could also, think in terms of that.
It looks like you set a 2 to 1 risk reward there. That's pretty interesting, because a lot of people can't handle indicators that maybe don't have a 90% win rate. And these candlestick patterns, like usually like 60, 70% if you're good. But if you have a 2 to 1, that's pretty good risk reward, and you end up being profitable overall. So,
yeah, 2 to 1 is solid. So you don't even really even need and that's something I learned later on, or early on, but then it still was hard to because it's hard to lose. Nobody likes to lose. Nobody, like, who in the world likes to lose in markets? Like, not me. But when you think in terms of risk reward, and you're just you're taking small losses, and then that big one's coming. And in fact, it actually recently just happened to me on I actually had a call option on AMD, and I think OCP had, I didn't use OCP, but I was using I think the Magnazone is where I saw it first, because I have so many systems, so it's hard to keep track of everything. But I had an AMD call, so I actually did get that big 30%. That was cool. So the big ones are coming, so you just got to wait. You got to be patient. And so that's how that's how I look at it with, especially with options, could get a little bit crazy there if you're just, holding everything.
Yeah. So I'm just looking at the comments here. Erwin just said one thing that they do is once it crosses the entry line for 5 seconds on the bid ask, so it increases the win rate to reduce any false breakouts. Have you ever looked at that at all? Like,
I have not. No, I have not.
So it's like a time-based thing. It's pretty interesting. So as long as
I mean, and that's what I love about this is, like, you get a lot of you got a lot of people trying this, and it's like, oh, I actually didn't think about that, and so because this is more. And whenever I was creating this, it wasn't really like an elaborate, because it's very simple, right? There's only I really built it for people like people like me that like price action, and you don't want 8,000 indicators, because we've all seen that pictures of 1,000 indicators on a chart, and so it's like, where's the candles at? You can't even see any candles. And so something like this is very small and discreet, and but yeah, it's that's an interesting take.
Yeah, for sure.
There's a lot of different ways you can do these.
So I found the OCP to be pretty good on SPY on the 1 and 5 minute. My friend Phil is asking though, what indicator would work best for scalping SPY on the 1 or 5 minute? OCP seems really good, but do you have any other indicators that might even be more specific to SPY on the 1 and 5 minute?
So 1 and 5, I don't have a lot of 1 to I don't trade a lot on the lower time frames. But what I will say is that one of the systems that I like on the 15-minute is our Tri Trader, and that thing is a beast. I actually had it's one of these. No, not this. Was it this one? Oh, here it is. The on the 15 minutes. So this was a Pfizer trade that I actually took on Tuesday. So this was a couple days ago. But yeah, I like this on the 15-minute. It basically just paints triangles on the chart, but I don't want to get too too much involved with other indicators if we want. But yeah, OCP could work though. We can even look at it here on the minute and see if there's anything. Yeah, so here's a couple on Tesla. This is a minute. So there's one right here. A nice little big. Oh, actually, here's another one right here. So, so there was two. This one wasn't a perfect, and they're not going to be perfectly aligned, and nothing's ever going to look, what you would think it would look like sometimes.
Right.
But however, this one did do exactly what we wanted to see. Is it initially broke it right here, and it did come back. So it actually would have stopped if you're having that tight stop loss. It actually could have gotten stopped out there if you got in this candle. However, if you got a little bit in, and I don't like being like, oh, well, if you did this, you did that. However, it did do what it was supposed to, and it did actually break that. When it did break it here, it did have some strong 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, pretty much. What is that? 8, 9 candles in a row of just down, a strong downward move. But again, minute charts are kind of a little bit crazy to me sometimes. It's really hard. I actually was on. Have you ever messed with this 1 second charts?
Yeah, once I did. Yeah, a long time ago.
There was it was the OCP. Because I was testing alerts and everything. But there was a couple. Even with the TriTrader, I was like, man, this is cool. Like I should actually do something with this. To me, it might get a little crazy though, but could be a cool little scalping. You have a little scalping system down there in the minute. They provide us, the second charts here on TradingView. Well, I think you have to have premium, I believe, but we have, obviously premium. But yeah, those are really cool to see down there. But yeah, getting back to this, this is the minute chart on Tesla. This is another solid trade. It looks like there was some, see how the volume picked up right here as well on that breakout. And you see how these, and this is what I like about this is see these two big candles. It seems like, when it goes, how it's supposed to go, and again, not every trade is going to be a winner. It's not going to be perfect. But when it does break out, you typically see these big, these nice strong candles with a little bit of volume. And that's what we're looking for.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know if you just saw that recent comment, but Erwin recently purchased your OCP indicator. They're saying like it's actually killer on the 1 minute, which I found 1 5 minute actually is really good as well. One thing is, I wonder if like the one you were just showing was it wicked below and it triggered a sell or short on it. I wonder if waiting for it to close below the breakdown level or the breakout level might result in you getting a little bit better risk reward and that kind of thing, So
yeah, and honestly, and I'm not even sure why. I thought I had it where it would only send this arrow on a close below it, because I always like a close, and so I might. So here's one. Okay, it did close. Yeah, so I might actually. Okay, here's one that did break, and yeah, because this is nice. Actually, this is another really nice. You know what? Man, this is actually pretty sweet on the minute chart. That's how many in a row.
Yeah,
and then if it doesn't actually, so this is what's another thing that's cool about this is so this is our two, and that this isn't even like really, I don't even think that even looks, it doesn't sit well anyways. But it didn't come in here and break it. And it just came back up here. So this was no trade, and there was no errors, there was no alerts, there was no anything. So that's what's cool about this as well. Is you're only getting, like, if you have an alert, you're only getting it set up on these arrows. But yeah, I like that though, waiting for a confirmation above it to get in as well. And but yeah, there's a lot of different, again, there's so many different ways you can look at this and approach it. But yeah, anything above it closing is really solid. That way you're not, and this is the more getting back to, like, say, what was it, this one, if you would have got, say, stopped out, if you had that really tight stop loss here, is it is going to be harder to get those nice win rates that we all love with a really tight stop loss like that. But waiting for that break right there would have been absolutely perfect on this quick little minute chart. But yeah, I really, I kind of battle tested it on the higher time frames, and in the strategy has mostly on the higher time frames with the examples and stuff. But But yeah, I mean, sure, it looks pretty good here down on the minute.
Yeah, the 1 minute's been solid, the 5 minute as well. And one thing is, my friend Phil was asking, I'll just put the comment up on the screen here, is do you have a bundle for all of your indicators? I guess that would be quite hard because you have so many, right? Like,
Black Friday is coming. So that's all I have to say.
All right, okay, cool.
Black Friday is coming. We'll do a special. We'll probably do a special, something like that, where we combine everything, but we don't have it normally offered. Most of the time it's just, get an individual. I think just it's not for a lot of, obviously people like Phil would enjoy that. And so that's kind of where I like to keep an open mind. But usually we just do one at a time and then, but yeah, that's a great question. But yeah, we'll probably have something on Black Friday for sure.
So we're getting some good feedback from Erwin here. He says, Ben, I appreciate fixing the alerts. I think you were having some problems, Erwin, with the alerts. And
yeah,
so it's good.
And I do apologize. And even the folks that had it all this time, and like nobody really, like whenever I do these, I usually test them and stuff. But I don't know what happened if the testing just wasn't, because usually whenever I do things, I'll make sure it's working on like the lower time frames. But yeah, I mean the alerts are working perfect now. You just do it where we got OCP, so it has two alerts: break, so a buy or a break, or a buy break or a sell break. And so, obviously, I'm a bull. I don't know. I'm a bull in the markets, even when there's a lot of bear talk recently. I'm still a big time bull. So I like setting, I like having anything with buy alerts set up. So, but yeah, and maybe eventually, can even add like an alert service with this at some point. And maybe you can offer that to, some of the OCP guys that jump in today. So I always like to kind of offer I always like to try to overachieve with all the anything that they get, because there's a lot of like junk out. Like I've seen, I've been, kind of doing this now since 2016. So I've seen a lot of offers where it's like, that's a $3,569 offer, and you're doing what exactly? You're giving one, and so we always try to keep everything as low as we can. Obviously we have a lot of there's still a lot of costs going on involved with some of this stuff, but yeah, I mean that's just kind of how I look at it. Sometimes I'm just like, man, there's no way that's.
Right.
Anyways, right. I mean, it's I don't I'm not here to sit here and judge anybody either, obviously, because this isn't something that is just 100% free. We do have a couple free indicators as well, so if anybody is interested in those, but I know sometimes people are like, well, if it's so good, what do you charge for it? That's the big question that everybody always asks, and it's just like, you don't gotta, there's nothing you have to, nobody's forcing anybody to do anything here, so. We have a lot of I try to do a lot of like awesome, free content for, everybody who's involved in our, little ecosystem. So
yeah,
on our YouTube or, Telegrams, things like that. So we got stuff going out all day long, just really good stuff about the markets and everything. But
yeah, definitely. You're getting some more push here. Kumar, one of my friends, is saying, can't wait until Black Friday. We'll appreciate if you can get that for us now.
Okay.
This is good though. Like people
maybe
are.
Maybe I'll think about it. But no, I mean, I know, that I had that in mind, Black Friday, because I'm a big time Black Friday shopper. So I always like to offer, a lot of awesome stuff on Black Friday. So we actually bundled last year. And I think we only had like 3 indicators. So now we have a lot. We have a lot of indicators now. Just a lot of systems in general, alerts and things like that.
Are they all based around candlestick stuff? I know I've tried out like Trader Plus, and I've tried OCP.
Yeah, let me pull it up. So Slingshot, no, that's this is more of internally with like there's a lot going on with that. RSI is kind of one thing though. Riptide is, we actually have a really awesome trader. He's actually from Iran. He runs Riptide. That's actually really cool. I mean, I could go through all these. The fear meter is pretty
so cool. Many. There's like
I mean, this is just yeah. So this is just one year. Magnazote, for me, my favorites. The ones that I'm using every day is these. I like OCP, but Magnezone, TriTrader, and Support Resistance Scanner. And this is actually one of our recent ones too. Trend Rider. Michael, he actually runs our support, and he's like, "Hey Ben, check out this system I got." I was like, "What are you doing? Let me check this out." So we ended up launching that last month. It's called the Trend Rider. It's really cool. It's based on volume. There's like 20 different things. I saw his code, and my mind was like about to explode because it just kept going. It's like the Energizer Bunny. Like it just kept going and going and going. And it's really cool though. Pretty interesting system, the Trend Rider. But yeah, we got a lot. We got a lot of different things.
Do you want to pull up
my
TriTrader?
favorites right here.
TriTrader's pretty interesting with the triangles, like 6 different triangles, right? Like
yeah, TriTrader. So this is let me look at the. Oh wait, I had $1 as well. So yeah, this is TriTrader right here. So it'll identify. There's 6 different triangles: symmetrical, ascending triangle, descending, symmetrical, short, descending triangle, short, or ascending wedge. And so basically, whatever it is, the color will come up, and it basically is based on that. And then you'll either get a up arrow or a little arrow right here with the alert, or a sell. So this was a nice little. This is $1. This is a Pfizer, good old Pfizer. This is a really, really good looking symmetrical triangle. And this is what I mean. And this was one of my all-time favorites. Like I still love TriTrader. It's just a cool little tool. Cause I'm a big time triangle. I love triangles. And so it's just, they're so explosive whenever they, now it can come back, triangles are triangles, they do sometimes do something like that. So it is kind of but we have, I have a system where I like to, if it comes back to the first, so right here, this candle right here, basically just get out. And then usually I'll do something like this where it's like a 1-to-1. So this is the stop loss. This will be the entry, and then this will be the target right here. So that's
interesting, because I noticed there's a max profit on the TriTrader, and it's often quite far down or up.
It'll be based on how big the triangle is. So this initial, so it'll actually be different depending on what the triangle is or how big it was identified. And it's sometimes it's not 100% perfect. I try to get as good as I could, but I have a lot of videos and things like that where I'll kind of explain if you see this, you can do that instead. So yeah, TriTrader is really, really nice. I've been working on some really cool things with this as well. I was actually talking to you a couple months ago about this. So I got some cool things coming, queued up with TriTrader. Nobody knows yet, so it's a secret.
And those updates are going to be available to people that are already purchased it.
Maybe that'll be in the bundle. And
the bundle, yeah. I'm excited for the bundle. I think that sounds amazing because
we did it. We did one bundle before, and I'm trying to think if we offered it again. We might offered it one more time. But yeah, I like doing stuff on Black Friday. So bundle, so that'll kind of be it, and then we'll just close it down. What I like to do is I usually I had it capped, so we only had a couple certain amount before we shut it down. So I'll probably do that again. So if you want the bundle, we got to get in early.
Yeah, and I'm excited to promote the bundle because the stuff you're doing it's so next level in terms of cost and value. I've been involved with tons of these things over the years, and you're right. People are charging $19.97 for something that's inferior to your stuff, and you're charging a few $100 for it at a time. It's just your value is so much higher than most of the other systems out there. It's kind of what gets me excited about it because that's kind of how I look at it. I don't think you should be paying for something if it's just a bunch of garbage. It doesn't sit right with me. And we always have. And we were talking about this. We actually have a 365 days. You can use this bad boy on TriTrader. But I might have to adjust that because it is a little bit crazy. But that's just kind of the value. I like people to try them, to see if it's worked for them. If it doesn't work, we have a support team that we get back and forth with, and if the problem can't be solved, then they get their money back. So that's how I look at it. And
we're not offering anything like 1997s or
No, no.
crazy prices that
Yeah.
just are just kind of unheard of. But I just look, just just small little one-time investment. No, this isn't even a subscription or anything like that. We really just like to just just for the cost of development time, and just there's just a lot of other things that go on behind the scenes. And it's running this for how many years, but it's just there's a lot of stuff that it's nothing's free. Nothing's free in this world. So there's a lot of stuff that it covers for that. So anyways, so that's I think I had a couple things that I was going to talk about here, but we pretty much hit a couple. This was another example on a euro dollar. This was a gold. So we all love gold, right? I mean, how insane is did anybody call this? Like, I wish I knew this down here on this breakout.
Why?
Look, OCP was trying on the daily, and gold was just like waving his big old finger saying like, you're not, nobody's shorting me. So this was a really nice trade, though. A really nice on the daily here, but because it kind of stalled out. But I mean, gold, just what a crazy run it's been on. This one tried to go short, and this would have been a nice short if this would have broke. I think this would have been a really nice short because there was a trend line here as well. And that's also something else that I love is trend lines. And so I actually had a couple ideas for a trend line indicator. We actually had a couple. Well, I've actually believe it or not, I've had a trend line indicator before. I was offered on MetaTrader. And so, but I don't really mess with that platform anymore. I think a lot of traders went away from it as well. They had a lot of, they're very old school. There's still I still love MetaTrader on, with certain things. We even have a couple alerts that we have still that are with MetaTrader, but so I love support, resistance, candlestick patterns, and then trend lines, breaking off trend lines. This stuff is, to me, is some of the best. It's some of the best things that you can.
It's like bread and butter, right? At least going back to the bread and butter trading.
Volume, because that's really what ultimately matters. I mean, you can, and whenever the president of the United States does a tweet, like there's nothing that you can have the best system on planet Earth and nobody's going to predict what on earth he's going to say. But that's just how it is. That's just how it is, at least right now. And it's just it could get a little bit crazy. So but I think ultimately price action is king. So, and even with SPY, there was a level, and I actually posted it on my YouTube where I saw it hit. I don't know if was it adjusted? I don't know why my trend line is. Oh, actually, no. I thought it was a little bit better than this, but it was basically, it came down and touched this. I think it was right here, and then it just basically reversed. And I was like, that was pretty cool. So it found this like really good trend line, and then came back into it. So, and again, we're kind of going sideways right now. So who knows? And it looks like post market where it's down even a little bit more on the S&P and the S&P. So we'll see if we can hold. I think probably tomorrow we're still going to go sideways for a little bit, and then we'll see what happens next week. Probably gold's still going to just be a rocket ship.
Yeah,
it's
definitely
crazy.
Pretty cool. So people just asking, is this recorded? And I'm like, no, it's live, but it's also recorded at the same time. Nutella and Crackers is saying, is there a Discord chat for people that bought this indicator? So I'm guessing you mean the OCP indicator.
No, so we don't. I was actually talking with. I was thinking about that, having like just a standalone Discord for community members, even just anybody who gets into in an indicator. So that's kind of something that I've been thinking about. So if that's something that is desired, that's something that I could probably make happen at some point. A lot of the times I have a Telegram, though. I don't really have anything for OCP at this time, but that's always something that could be down the road where I'll just that is something that I've actually been thinking about, is having a just anybody who gets try whether it's Try Trader or support resistance or OCP to get inside like a community either a Discord or I like Telegram. I'm a big time, Telegram, but Discord. I still use Discord here and there. I know Discord is very popular amongst like trading groups and things like that. So to me, Discord gets a little bit messy sometimes. So if I had a Discord room, I would only have like a couple channels because a lot of times I feel like when somebody makes a Discord, it's like they want to do like 18 different chats and like it's a little bit crazy. So so if I do one, I'm going to do it right. And I actually joined one where there was a really cool bot in there that they had that you have like an analyze, and then you like analyze a stock and it has like all these levels and things like that. I was like, well, that's cool. I want that. So I think that's also something I probably would, do something, a couple little bonus things in there. But yeah, it's a great question. But yeah, right now I don't, I don't have anything like that.
Because Nutella and Crackers is saying always keen to hear how other users are finding indicators. So often these indicator systems will have like a free Discord channel where people can join and just like they're always like really skeptical, like, is this working for you guys? And then they'll buy it eventually if people say it is or whatnot.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I get it. And there's, that's good to have. It's always good to have, feedback, anybody who's already had it, so yeah, I mean, that's a great question. That's a good, something that would be interesting to have later on. But
it's also worth putting out the 30-day money back guarantee though, so you can get your money back.
Yeah. 30 days. Yeah. 30 days they got here. But yeah, this is pretty much, and I kind of just put this, this is on our page. So if they go and visit that, they'll be able to see there's a little, like I said, I love support resistance and, these kind of patterns. And there's a price action going on. And so I have a little masterclass in there for price action, a little support resistance. So there's just other little bonus, tidbits with the OCP that you get. This even is the, I actually do include that. The I have so many things that I sometimes forget. But I have a really cool volume indicator. So that's included in there as well. It's kind of looks like a MACD almost, and it kind of shows strong direction either way. This is it right here, the volume pressure histogram. So essentially it's when it's green, there's strong upwards volume. And then whenever it goes yellow or red, that's just kind of like medium, and red is selling pressure. But this is actually a free, I actually offer this for free as well. So this is a cool little, we have a couple free indicators, and I really want to, tend to that crowd as well. Cause I know there's a lot of folks that are just like, well, I'm not buying anything. It's like, well, that's cool. So I still want to have really cool, nice, strong, valuable systems, even for anybody who's not, cause it's not really my goal is just to get money from everybody. It's just, just to get people, to find better trades. That's where the name came from.
Find better trades, yeah.
Find better trades. So that's kind of the idea behind that. But here's a couple questions. Basically it can be used on any Forex, stocks, crypto, commodities. And I think I showed examples on everything, maybe except for crypto, but it works exactly the same way with crypto. TradingView is the only platform. And this isn't a subscription. It's just a one-time offer. And you need TradingView, obviously. You can't just not have TradingView for it to work. And then alerts, and then there's a lot of other good stuff in there, like videos and course material, all that good stuff. So
one question I get from people a lot is, can it be used for futures prop firm trading? And I've used it on ES and NQ. But I'm curious, like, do you need the real-time data for it to work properly, or does it work just fine with the lag? I know, looking back at the delayed 15-minute delay on TradingView isn't very helpful if you're real trading, but I was just kind of looking at the signals. I was like, okay, these work pretty well, but I'd have to pay for the updated data. I guess you have to pay for the updated data to actually get real-time futures on TradingView.
Yeah, I think so. I think with TradingView, you have to pay for some of that stuff. But and that's where it would be nice to have if we got just futures only folks that have other options, whether it's I'm blanking on some of the other ones. I know NinjaTrader. I still think you have to pay for data with NinjaTrader, right? I think they don't. I think that's still delayed. I'm not sure if there's a lot of there might be a couple brokers that offer that real time, but yeah, I mean, it's even still, so 15 minutes, that's not even that bad. If you're going like higher time frames, it's really not that bad.
Well, that's true, and I guess that's what I was thinking about. Is like
Daily,
there's a lag, but the
fine.
indicator still works on it. I was looking at NQ and ES, and it was pretty nice.
Yeah.
So,
now, if you're looking on the 5-second charts, trying to do those, might not be all right. But yeah, dude, it is crazy though. Check this out. Let's see. It is a little bit insane on these second charts, like what it actually, because I mean, it's still working pretty. Yeah, like there's one right there. So it's not perfect, but pretty interesting. There's one right there. So it's not definitely not going to be something that I would necessarily want to be in on all the time, but yeah, I mean, there's one right there, a little second charter.
Oh yeah, that worked out beautifully. Yeah, that's nice.
What's that? That's a little 0.02% up. There you go. But I mean, you could even do something where even you get in with this and then just let it ride. Let it ride with having like a trailing stop loss and stuff. And that's what I love about this is, you can literally, there's probably somebody out there that could find like a perfect strategy with this on the second charts or on the 5-second or 10-second. It's just, but you can't have a strategy for everything, like I would love to, but it'd be pretty painstaking to have it on. Okay, this is what you want to do on this time frame or that time frame. But usually what I like to say is, however you're trading it the same, it's basically the same way you trade on the daily or on the hourly or on the minute, but on the second would be a little bit different. That would, because I mean, you'd be paying for the trade at that point, even if you got to take profit because of the spread. But yeah, so if there's any other questions, I don't think I have your thing up, but if you have any other questions,
I'm just looking. So people are commenting a little bit, but so far there's not really any. Do you guys have any other questions for Ben?
Or if they wanted to see something else, I got a lot of toys, a lot of tools around.
Yeah, let us know if you want to see any of his other indicators, or you have any questions about particular indicators. There's a ton of them. I don't think there's a place to see them all in one place, though, right? Yeah, they're all kind of individual landing pages. Is that right? Or
I don't really have. I mean, I had this, but for you specifically, to show, that's actually something that I could probably.
Yeah. Do you want to share that with me in the So if you on this platform, if you look for private chat down the bottom right, you can send me the link to that, and I can post it in the comments here. So people
can go as long as it would, because I'm not sure if it would work perfectly with tracking everything, because I'd have to look into that, but I could probably find this link for you.
Yeah, that'd be because having a page
this is probably, I think that would actually work. That link that I shared with you. Because that's your after the question mark there, like that should work as far as
cool. All right, I'll post that.
Yeah, so if anybody's interested in that specific thing, but that's where most of our that's where pretty much everything is in there.
Okay, so I'll post this in the chat for people. So what does that link take them to? Is that the page that we were just talking about with the whole?
Yeah, that would be this page. So it has pretty much all our different stuff here.
Yeah, so for you guys that are interested in browsing all the different indicators, I just posted that link in the chat.
But
for you guys to check out.
Yeah, these three right here, these are pretty much these four right here. Trend Rider, Magnazone, Tri-Trader, and Support Resistance. Those are some of our most recent.
Some of the best ones.
Scanner. I've been really big into scanners as well. Just because the reason why I like scanners so much is I think I have too much going on. And for having this many systems, I need some kind of alert system. So scanners are really helpful. But I still love the good old indicators on the charts, especially when I'm looking at my charts for.
What's your favorite, Ben? Like, do you have one that you're like, okay, I trade all my live trades on this, or do you?
I love Magnazone right now.
Magnazone.
So this bad boy right here, this is the good old Magnazone. Let me do it on something I don't trade it a lot on. Well, actually, I don't do Forex, but essentially what it'll do is it'll do an alert at a breakout. And so this one was a breakout. and it does breakouts and bounces. This particular one, it kind of shook. It kind of thought that it was going to bounce as well, but this was a nice little breakout right there. But yeah, we had a lot, and I even have a scanner. So this is the scanner with it. But these are all my live trades. This is all my trades, or not live. I don't take all these, but these are all the ones with the scanner.
Yeah.
So we actually have take profits and stuff. So this was that euro dollar. A lot of you know what's really cool about this? Actually, there was a recent where was it? So here was a couple winners, Coin, Bull, GME. There was like, I think there was like 10 or yeah, look at all these. So you know when we had that big crypto, and this is why I love this is like literally like this was so cool to me. When all the cryptos like just died like all at once, and there was like that big liquidity, like whatever the heck that all happened. It had all sells beforehand, but all these were it hit take profits on every single. So Solana, Cardano, XRP, linked, Bitcoin, Ethereum. So that was pretty cool. But yeah, this is the scanner, but essentially the scanner is just the trades with the Magnazone. So
with the Magnazone, yeah. Okay. So
yeah, Magnazone is I love the good old Magnazone.
Good old Magnazone, yeah.
Get in the zone, so, yeah. Magnazone. We think I would get copyright, or what would that even be? Get in the zone. What is that? AutoZone? Yeah. I wanted to have that as my slogan.
Yeah. Couple points coming up. So Kumar just asked, can you show examples of the scanner? I think you just did there.
Yeah, this is the scanner right here. So our most recent one was a Ethereum. So yep. we can go over here and look. Actually, I'll just go.
So is it scanning all different assets? Like
yeah. So I have a lot of different. I have all these different assets. So right here, I have a hot list, and essentially it's scanning every single one of these. So Vuzi, Neo, Verizon, XOM. You know, these are all the stocks. These are my ETFs that I'm scanning, and then these are all the crypto. So yeah, all those crypto 1, 2, 3. So it actually every single one of these had a sell alert, and every single one of them hit the take profit. So that was really cool. So that's crypto, and then I have a couple Forex, and then I take. So if anybody has like, hey, I trade whatever, then they can message me, and I'll add it to the scanner. So I've already done that a few times. So that's what I kind of like to get some feedback, see if anybody has something that they're really wanting to, because it is sometimes you like to trade something specific. Like everybody always has that one ticker they just always come back to. Me, it's Walmart. I don't know why. I love trading Walmart. So I like to add that to the scanner there. But yeah, so this is a real time. So this was the Ethereum breakout. So I don't know. I mean, that looks like a pretty. This is a zone down here that I could even go to, but yeah, I never short crypto, especially like what just happened, like So, but yeah, I do like taking the longs though.
Pretty good. Yeah,
but we don't really have anything long here. This is on the hourly too. But yeah, good old Magnazone. This is the I do like trading with this.
Yeah, so I just posted the link to Magnazone in the chat for people, and for people watching the replay, all these links will be in the description below. So you don't have to watch the chat at the full time. You can actually just look down in the description, and you'll get these links to all the different.
We had a break here on Disney, so breakout on Disney. That was a recent one, and what I like about this, I actually have it where because it could get a little bit crazy, so I even have it where it could show their most recent. What's really cool though, and this could get a little bit insane on the chart, but I've done this a few times where this kind of like these are all of the previous support resistance zones. And so sometimes I'll do this on like the daily, even on like the 4 hour, like on the higher, so you can kind of get a visual representation like, oh, okay, so there was a lot of different levels previously. So to see this big chunk, this means that like somewhere back here, there was, look at this, like all these zones. And so this could be a really interesting spot, later on, if you're looking for, especially if like you're a long-term long term, doing trading something like this. So that's pretty cool. I like doing that, and I even had an idea for this for like a more like a long term support and resistance trades, but that'll be to be determined. So got a lot of ideas with some of these. So yeah, and I really wanted to integrate because I love trading volume at levels as well. So adding I wanted to integrate something with Magazone with volume. So that's kind of something that I'm a project that I'm, kind of just working on a little bit here and there.
Yeah. Do you have any other projects in the works of adding more indicators, or is the suite you have?
Yeah. So I have another scanner coming soon, very soon this month. And so that'll be coming out the tail end of this month. That'll be the triangle scanner. And then we have there's a couple cute that they're in the I don't know, however you would say that, but the coming soon as well, different indicators. But yeah, so tons of stuff. For me, I'm only one person, but I like I actually our team is starting to grow a little bit, so I'm actually it's not just going to be my systems like Trend Rider. This was Michael, my support guy, and so this was his system. And actually, it's insane on gold. Let me look at gold. It called like some really really solid trades. I think it was on the hourly. There's good old Magnazone. Magnazone was insane. Of course, there's a lot of systems that were good with gold, but his called the so there was a nice little volume sell there, so a little sell off, but some really nice trading here. And what all it does is it literally rides a trend. And so you just kind of keep, and we have a really solid guide. You just literally just keep following this trend with this line here. And so you just keep moving so this one literally was insane. Like these all the way back here, October 10th. Really nice trade.
Yeah, very nice. Yeah, very good indeed. So do you ever combine any of your indicators? Like you have one that's like a trend rider like that. And do you ever use that to filter out?
Yeah. I do it all the time. And that's why I want to have scanners for everything because it's really cool to see. It's like, all right, I got a Disney sell, and then because I even had this question come up when I was talking with a couple members about where it's like, hey, what if you have a sell on one and a buy in another? To me, it's not really like that big of a deal because that just means that there's something happening, and so. One of them is going to be right. So you definitely want to keep your eyeballs on those levels and see if there's a big, there could be a potential big breakout, especially something like the Magnazone, right? Where there's a big time support resistance zone coming up. That could be a really solid level for a big time breakout. And then, there's this, and again, there's a system for everything. Like we have a slingshot that would try to find this little pullback here. Yeah. Right. And then we have Trend Rider that already was in it all the way back here. And then we had Magnazone that would have bought right here. That's three different systems that all would have been, that could have worked. I don't know if Slingshot would have. I think Magnazone have this level? Looks like it was just, it had the breakout right here. So it wasn't this one, but it was this one.
Right. Yeah. Yeah, that's cool. You've got all bases covered, basically, right? Like you've got
that's kind of what I try to do.
Covered. You've got trends covered. Like it's
pullbacks, cool. Trends. I even have a you would like this, a fear meter. So I think it's probably high. Let me look on. Let's see.
Kind of based on VIX or something.
Yeah. So we actually are, and I actually haven't pulled this up in a while. So we have a little, I call these decision diamonds, where once the fear kind of starts chilling off a little bit, you get a little diamond there. You can take a buy trade, but we're at some pretty, there's a lot of fear right now. Let's look at it on the daily. Oh yeah, it's definitely creeping up. But yeah, this thing's pretty cool. I actually had, so I like to watch like people chase tornadoes. I don't know if anybody here, if there's a guy, he's on YouTube. And he gets millions of views. His name is Ryan Hall. And I actually had this idea from him because he scans the entire United States, right? Yep. And then he has a little meter, and I forget what he calls it. And basically, when there's a lot of activity, like a lot of like, craziness happening, the meter's at like the highest it could possibly be. So I was like, I bet there's something that I could do with, involved with trading with that. And so, fear meter is pretty cool. It does, let me see if I can look at the code real quick. Yeah, it does VIX, SPY, bonds, gold, and Bitcoin, dollar strength and credit risks. And it essentially assigns them a score.
Okay.
And so whenever, one goes up or down, depending on what it, is doing.
Cool.
So obviously VIX goes up, fear is going up, SPY goes down, that's bad. So the fear is going to go up. So it combines all of that and it gives it a little thing down.
That's
so
cool.
so fear is happening. It's not on the daily. It's not as like top, but I think what was that on the hourly? But yeah, I don't know why I actually haven't had this on my chart because, things have been getting a little bit crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was one that we, this was like green forever. Yeah. Check this out. It's been green for a while until look at April.
Yep.
February to April was just, basically the beginning of May was crazy, but there was a couple trade ideas. And this, to me, this was more like, I have these diamonds here, but to me, it's more like if you see red, that's just like, if you're a buy the dipper, you're going to be wanting to buy,
Right.
So if you see this and you have stocks you want to buy and hold, you see it red here. Now is a good time to start thinking about getting in because it's, it's dipping, and who knows how long this can continue to go. But, that's kind of the idea behind.
That's cool. Yeah. Cause a lot of people just go on VIX, but having a compilation of VIX and
this is a little bit different than, I mean, not exact, like this kind of started. So this was a big time like spike here on VIX. And then it came down a little bit, but it didn't really react too much until, it just started to creep up a little bit. But it's just it's based on a lot of other stuff, not just VIX. But wow, look at that breakouts on VIX there. But I never actually this might be a really silly question, but I've never actually traded VIX. You can trade this, correct? This price.
You've never traded VIX? Was that sorry? I didn't hear.
Yeah, I've never actually traded VIX before. If you can, you actually. No. Yeah, because I always thought VIX was just like, if it's going up, there's panic. And so I never actually thought about,
So
but to me, if it's going up, you're wanting to,
I've never directly traded it. I've always just done like selling options for.
So is it you just trade the ticker VIX? Like
I don't know. I've never done it. Never traded.
Yeah, I've never actually done that either. If you can, again, I don't know if that's a silly question or not, but I'm not. I'm not one that just acts like I know everything. So,
right.
But I do know. I look at it whenever if it's starting to go up. Obviously, things are happening. Things are like right here. It's I was actually looking at it today. VIX was insane in April.
Yeah,
it was absolutely insane. Went up to 60.
Yeah, that is insane.
Something I like to do if we do start to go down is I like SQQQ is just really cheap too. Something to kind of hedge. I actually grabbed a couple options just for hedging, and I actually got a little piece of this the other day when people started to panic. So I actually did trade a little bit. So kind of go both ways. But it just basically it's the inverse of QQQ.
Yeah, for sure.
But so hopefully that was, there's a lot of I've been working on a lot of stuff, and I really enjoy doing this kind of stuff. And like I said, this is the first time I ever actually was interviewing with anybody. I usually been behind the scenes, just doing my own thing over the last several years. And
it's really helpful to speak to the person behind the indicators, though. I think a lot of people are anonymous, and I think it's really good to put a face or a name to an indicator.
And especially with like AI now, and like it's just you could literally just be anybody or anything. So it's nice to have a face behind a.
And just to like sit down and talk about this stuff, it's helpful to let people ask questions and just see like there's a real person behind the systems, because it's like you don't know who's behind a lot of these things, and some of them are pretty bad, like some of the indicators out there. So like I'm not a big fan of anonymous anonymous.
Yeah,
indicator
I
systems.
never was a fan of that as well. I usually, I was usually, well, I most of the time I've been I guess the marketing guy, if you want to say.
Yeah,
But I'm dipping my toes more into, creating systems, because I've learned, I've seen a lot of guys come and go, and I learned a bunch of, a lot of stuff from a lot of really, really good traders. And through, through all those years with trading strategy guides and everything, I was able to, pick and choose. Like there was this, like, that was also a really good teaching moment. There's this guy, he does, and I don't know if you know him, you probably don't, but he's pretty, he has a small community, Scott Barkley. And I learned so much from he calls it the break, hook, and go. And I was just like, and I, even to this day, whenever I see something like do that, essentially what it is just something needs to break. So basically you wait for a breakout, and then it hooks back, and then this is where you get in, and then it goes. And so just
yeah,
little stuff like that, just, watching people talk about their systems, or,
yeah,
learning about all these price action, systems,
it
everything,
helps.
it's been really, really helpful. But
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, good
Cool.
old Scott Barkley. He was, well, he's still around. I believe, I haven't talked with Scott in a long time, but he's a big time, he does, speaking of indicators, he has his own like charting. It's like from the 80s, like it's old school. And
Well,
like, it's still, I think it still holds up, it holds up to this day. So pretty cool. He always had some,
some
he
good
was
stuff
he
there.
was really he has a really good personality, for sure. Like, we were doing a Zoom, and people in the chat were just like not doing what they're supposed to. He's like, put it on hosts and panelists and then chat with us. Like, he's just yelling at people. So I was like, what is happening? So, because as a marketing, I was like, okay, let's see what, let's help these people out. And he's just like, really great though. Good guy.
Yeah, sounds like it. Yeah, for sure. Um, yeah, Erwin's saying you're awesome. so,
I appreciate that.
so
Yeah,
yeah, no, I appreciate you coming on tonight, and I hope that a lot of people got some value from this. And if there's any more questions from people, just reach out to me or to Ben. I can put you in touch with Ben if you need, and we can kind of go from there. And hopefully we'll have some good offers coming up for Black Friday. It sounds like it's going to be an extremely interesting
yeah,
interesting time
yeah,
for
yeah.
people who are interested in these.
We'll have a big time offer on Black Friday. So
Yeah,
stay tuned for
yeah,
that. And you know what? If you ever want me to come back on, I'd definitely be willing to do that as well. So I definitely
yeah,
appreciate your time today.
yeah, definitely. All right. Well, thank you very much for your time, and thanks, guys, for listening. And for you guys that are watching the replay, check the description below. I'll put all the links you need to find the different indicators from Ben, and hopefully, you guys found this valuable. And yeah, let's be excited for some of these indicator systems. I think having that freedom to make your own choices based on these high probability indicators is really worthwhile, because you can kind of take the trading into your own hands a little bit. Like, you don't have to follow them blindly. You can basically do whatever you want with the risk reward and make your own strategies based on the indicators to make them even better than they might be if you just follow them blindly. So there's a lot of stuff you can do, and it's a very flexible way of trading rather than just following like alerts from people or whatever. So yeah, hopefully
Yep.
you guys found this helpful. And yeah, thank you very much for your time tonight, Ben. So yeah.
Yeah. Thank you. Thank you, everybody for coming, and everybody who's watching the replay, so I, appreciate all you guys. We're doing
Cool.
this for you guys.
All right. Have a good night then, Ben.
All right. Thank you.
Thanks.